guys, Clark from Sellsword Arts here, and today I'm rolling my character.
Clark, didn't you already roll your character?
No, this is the first
Clark,
time.
did you make a mistake?
I would never make mistakes.
Clark, did you very publicly do math wrong and get called out in the comment section?
No, that did not happen. We all collectively forgot to re-roll ones, and Mateo is making us re-roll them.
And that's the only reason we're here.
That's the only reason we're here.
Okay.
To re-roll ones, nothing else. So theoretically, if I were to do math wrong and I were to go back and rewatch the video, I would have gotten these results, which I did get the first time because you can't prove anything. So I need to re-roll these two things here.
Here, Clark, I got you a dice that's big enough that you can see the numbers and do the math right this time.
Which I did math right the first time. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah! Hey, that's pretty good.
Good job, Clark. All right, Clark, one more time.
Clark, just roll.
Whoop!
Whoa!
Hey, that's even better.
I'm gonna be really mad if mine are bad.
So that leaves me with this stat spread. So I'll put the highest in strength and the second highest in con, because that's classic fighter things. I'll probably make my dump stat intelligence.
What, you're trying to make a himbo, Clark? This is supposed to be you.
Exactly, this is, yeah. Trophy husband status. The real question everybody has been asking is what race is I'm gonna play? Because there could be
What racism? What
race I'm gonna play.
You said what racism am I gonna play?
What everybody's been dying to know is what race am I gonna play? Because let's be honest, I could play anything.
Clark.
I could play any of those things. I could be like a dragonborn with scales and wings, or I could be like a tiefling with magic powers.
Clark,
I could be a cat girl.
Clark, you are white bread. You are a mayonnaise sandwich. You live in Texas and you can't even eat Mexican food.
I eat Tex-Mex.
You are a human.
Okay, fine, I'm a human. For the record, I eat more seasoning than David does. What everyone's been actually dying to know is what class am I gonna play? Because I could be anything. I could be a ranger, I've fired a bow before. I could be a rogue, I've thrown knives. I could be a bard, I don't play an instrument. I'm gonna be a fighter. Because I like swords. Okay, the only question anybody actually had is what kind of fighter am I gonna be? And this is actually pretty interesting. At first thought I'd be a samurai, because samurais are cool. I'm the resident weeb. But my main swords was actually like European, not Japanese, so I can't really do that. So I figured I could be a battle master, because I know a bunch of sword techniques, and I know the appropriate context and how to throw them. But then that wouldn't be as fun, I think, because I'd use my superiority die and I just say this thing happens. I don't really need to justify why, it just happens. So that's not as interesting as it could be. So what I ended up being was a champion, which lets me go first in combat and it raises my critical hit. And this way I can have all the techniques I know how to do IRL, like be flavor tech. So it's more of like, in this specific situation, I know I do this thing and I can justify that because I know how and when to actually do that. And I figured it'd be more interesting as a role-playing perspective than just, I do this thing because I decide I should.
The funny thing about Battle Master is half of the things that they say are wrong.
Yeah.
So it would actually be holding you back because you'd go, that's not how that works.
That's not how that works at all. And then I have to sit there explaining why this is wrong. I do this thing instead and nobody wants to hear that.
So champion. The real question is, hey Clark, what sword are you gonna use?
Sword singular?
There's no way you're gonna get proficiency in all of these.
Mateo, don't make me choose. Okay, Mateo, here is why you should let me use all of these swords, because obviously I have to use a longsword. This is my baby, this is my go-to. People know me as the longsword bro. By the same ticket, you gotta let me use a katana. I'm the resident weeb. That's like, I can't pick one, I have to have both. And that said, like, you can't have a campaign without having giant swords because, and also this would be super useful, like, these are all dueling weapons. What if the party comes against a horde of enemies and I need to fight multiple people? Like, that makes sense. Same thing with the Nodachi. I can't have just one big sword. I need two big swords because giant katana. And like, everybody loves a massive magical anime sword that I'm not using in reverse grip. That's how that's gonna work.
And the batleth?
Well, some people are gonna have armor. This is my anti-armor weapon. I need all of them.
Megan? Megan, what are you doing? We're making videos about re-rolling our ones. What is all this?
Research for my character.
How was this research?
Oh, Mateo said that my patron is gonna be from Book Talk, so.
Woo! That is not research. Megan, come on, we gotta make a video.
Okay. Okay.
Megan, you're re-rolling. You don't need any of those. Give me. Gimme. Here you go.
Ooh, big dice. Uppies. I got a 2. It's better than 1.
Okay, I think with my math, I think you get one more re-roll, right?
Okay, this will be a good one. Ready? Ready? Oh.
You get one more re-roll. And this time you're not gonna hit me.
Again.
A 4.
4. So my stats were 14, 12, 14, 14, 14, 14. And now they're 14, 12, 14, 14, 14, 15.
Okay, Megan, what race are you gonna be? Oh, let me guess. Dragonborn, because she likes dragons.
I like dragons. I don't want to be a dragon. I want to ride dragons.
You could be a cat girl.
In your dreams, Clark. I thought about being like an elf or a tiefling, but let's be real. I'm a human. I'm gonna be a human who just happens to get cool powers because Book Talk says so. So, if you've been paying attention, you know I'm gonna be a warlock. But I have to pick a subclass, which is kind of hard when I don't know who my patron is. But we all know that I am here with Sellsword learning how to use weapons, so I'm gonna be a hexblade. Gonna happen. But Mateo's being real cagey about what my patron is gonna be. I can fit it into the hexblade. It's gonna work. But he says he's reading Book Talk and doing research, so I'm a little bit nervous about how that's gonna work out. So now that I have a class, I can put my stats into my ability scores. It's gonna be really tough. Okay, so obviously my 15 is gonna go in charisma because otherwise my warlock would be useless. And then, what's my dump stat gonna be? I think the 12 can go in just strength because we all know I can't be strong enough to hold a sword.
Thanks, Book Talk.
Fourth wing, it is what it is.
Hey, Megan, what are your other stats and where are you gonna put them?
Well, I think intelligence can be a 14, and dexterity can be a 14, and my wisdom can be a 14. Ooh, what else is there?
Intelligence?
Yeah.
What is that gonna be?
14.
Megan, you forgot Constitution.
Wonder what that's gonna be.
But Megan, what's your hexblade gonna be?
Dagger.
It's time for me, David from Sellsword Arts, to make my min-max character. And you might be saying, David, you already made your min-max character. And I did, but I did it wrong, because I didn't reroll my ones. But before I go ahead and reroll, I wanted to explain why I picked the character I picked. In min-max, I'm playing a swashbuckler rogue. And you might be saying, David, why aren't you playing a fighter? Well, there's a couple of good reasons for that. Number one, Clark's playing a fighter, and we can't both be fighters. That's like showing up to a party where we're both wearing the same dress. What a fashion faux pas. The second reason is, even though I love the longsword, saber and rapier are more my babies, more finesse. And the last reason is, I really want to throw throwing knives. The other reason I want to play a swashbuckler is, although it's unrealistic, it gives me the ability to do cool acrobatics in the middle of a sword fight, which I can actually do.
All right, David, stop showing off and reroll your ones.
Are you trying to make fun of me with a giant dice so I look small? All right. I'll take it. I'll take it. So in one of my rolls, I actually had 2 ones, so I have to roll it twice to see which one is not a 1. You understand what I'm saying? Ready? That's a 1, so I re-roll it.
Reroll.
Whee! So I got a 5, which means...
You get one more roll.
Megan, should I trust his math?
Yes, I did the math this time.
Okay, one more roll. Let's see how it goes. Yeehaw! Ooh! A 4. So this is what I had. Future David, please put in the graphics. Thank you. And then my 12 and my other 12, I had to re-roll those because that's where my ones were, and I got this over here. It turned into a 16 and a 14. Future David, put the things there. So now that I've re-rolled, I'm gonna place my stats. So I'm gonna, that's a 5. I'm gonna put my highest 16 in dexterity, because I probably need that as a rogue. And then I'm gonna put my dump stat into wisdom, because David is not wise. David started a YouTube channel. David quit all of his real jobs to do this full time. And then, I wonder what my other stats are gonna be.
Why'd you take all my 14?
I have the same amount of 14.
No, you copied me.
I can't. You're very copyable. You're smart. That's why I'm intelligent, not wise. So it was smart to copy you, but it was not wise because now you're mad at me. As for my race, I was gonna play a half goblin because we all know about Goblin David, Goblin mode, but Mateo said that's kind of complicated and he could do it, but he had a better idea. So he said to make a normal human character, and then when the campaign started, he had a surprise for me. I'm really excited. Mateo is probably a really nice DM. He's gonna have something cool for me. What do you guys think? As for my weapon, I will be using a rapier, but I have a couple of issues with D&D's takes on the rapier. They classify it as doing piercing damage, which is true, it's great at thrusting, but the rapier is a cut and thrust weapon. And to prove this point for science, I think that Mateo should stand there without a mask while I cut him in the face to determine how much damage it should do. Or you could just trust me and let me do cutting and thrusting damage. And if you want to balance it, I will grant you that the rapier does less slashing or cutting damage than a saber or a longsword, but it's still cut good. Now, my next gripe here is the way the rapier is classified. This is not classified as a light weapon, but the shamshir is classified as a light weapon, and these weigh about the same. Granted, the rapier is quite a bit longer, but the blade is a lot thinner. The practical downside of this is you can dual wield with the shamshir, but you cannot dual wield with the rapier unless you take the dual wielding feat. And okay, fair, if you want to use two long weapons together, you should have some sort of special feat because this is hard to do. But it's not any easier with two shamshirs. They're not that light. Any two-weapon system would require a dual-wielding feat. My real gripe with this is what it does to one of the most popular fencing styles out there, rapier and dagger. Rapier and dagger is one of the most popular combos because you can defend and attack at the same time. But because D&D doesn't treat this like a light weapon, you can't use a dagger in your offhand unless you take the dual wielding feat. But if you take the dual wielding feat, the dagger is super underpowered and you would never pick it over a different weapon that you wouldn't really use IRL. So, you shouldn't have to use a dual wielding feat to use this in your offhand. I think that's what I'm saying. Yes, that's what I'm saying. But it gets even more complicated because what the dual wielding feat really does is allows you to attack twice with two different weapons, but this isn't really an attack weapon, it's a defense weapon. But the dual wielding feat does raise your AC when using two weapons, which is actually how this would have been used. But again, you wouldn't pick a dagger if you're dual wielding because it's underpowered. So you would never use a dual wielding feat to use a dagger, which is the realistic way you would use this. And then there's something even more complicated. I don't even want to use a parrying dagger in my offhand. I want to be a sexy rogue who uses a rapier in my offhand, yeah, that makes sense. And a throwing dagger in my offhand. And before you say it's not possible, I'm fighting, offhand throw. Fencing, swashing my buckles, and knife. Fencing, swashing my buckles, knife. It still counts even if it fell out. Fencing, swashing your buckles, knife. It stuck for a minute, shut up. So basically what I'm saying is, Mateo, D&D rules are dumb, so let me cheat.